cornerback Tyler Patmon got into it, and on the final play of team drills for the first team offense and defense at Cowboys practice, helmets came off, it got a little heated, but things cooled down when Tony Romo walked over and intervened. Is Dez Bryant's camp fight a big deal or no deal, Skip?
Stephen A. Smith, I'm very interested to hear your take on this, because my take is this is a much bigger deal than the normal daily run-of-the-mill camp fights I've seen for years and years covering National Football League camps. Those usually sparked by two teammates getting literally overheated near the end of a practice in which it's 100 degrees with high humidity. That's not what I believe happened here. This time, Dez Bryant completely lost his temper and his cool for not the usual minute and a half of a normal camp fight, but for about 10 long minutes. It may have been even longer than that. Not until Tony Romo opted to leave the huddle area and go all the way over to Dez Bryant near the sideline and try to sort of talk him down, cool him off, did finally Dez calm completely down. So I think two things could have been operating here below the surface, Stephen A., and both had to do with the contract that Dez Bryant finally got because Dez Bryant had earned the big money he got from Jerry Jones. Number one, it's possible that his attitude toward Tyler Patmon, a second-year undrafted free agent cornerback from, by the way, his school, Oklahoma State, that his attitude was, hey, how dare you try to get rough with me and trash talk and insult me to my face after the money I just got that made me one of the top paid receivers in the National Football League. That's number one. And number two, it's very possible that Dez Bryant is feeling some early camp pressure to light up camp in order to live up to the big money he just got. And obviously Tyler Patmon was getting in his grill, getting in his face, getting in his game, and having his way with Dez Bryant at that point of a camp practice. And it really got under Dez's skin. So when practice ended, Dez went straight to the locker room, but he came back and addressed the media, said all the right things, and pointed out that he hugged it out with Tyler Patmon. I'm assuming it was behind closed doors in the locker room, that everything was okay. And then because I do, as Molly said, I follow Dez Bryant on Twitter. I also follow Tony Romo, the only two people I follow, that I saw last night that Dez had 7 tweets that he posted concerning how he hugged it out with Tyler Patmon. I think he wanted to drive home the point that I did what was right because I know I went a little out of balance here. I think he was sensitive about it, as he should have been, because he lost his temper. And as a leader of this team, I think he was saying, okay, I got it. I'll do better next time. So I appreciated the 7 tweets concerning this.
Didn't they both play at Oklahoma State?
Yes, I said that, yes. Not
and
together,
what I'm saying,
not together, not at the same time.
I know not together. I know not together. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because it's not just about, first of all, Dez Bryant has nothing to prove. Dez Bryant just has to go out there and play the way that he's been playing. Nothing that happens in training camp or in practice is going to faze anybody about Dez Bryant. Because you know come Sunday afternoon against stiff NFL competition, Dez is going to show up. There's just no question about it, which is why we all supported and applauded him getting his money. $70 million, okay, 52.5 guaranteed, nearly about $32 million signing bonus. We saw that. All right, $20 million signing bonus. We saw that from Dez Bryant. And so there's no question about that. It could easily have been something along the lines, look, we went to the same university. There's a certain level of respect and decorum you're supposed to show me because I'm not only your big brother, figuratively in terms of me being in the NFL and you just getting here, I'm also your big brother because I starred at the same place you were at. You know? So there's a lengthy history involved here in terms of we've got the same pedigree. And there's a certain level of respect and decorum you of all people should show me that you ain't showing in terms of how you're coming at me. Now I understand you're a bit overzealous because you're trying to make the squad, trying to make sure that you got an impact, etc. But at the end of the day, know your place. I could see it being something along those lines. I don't see Dez Bryant feeling any pressure in training camp because he got a new contract. He might feel the pressure come week 1 and beyond, but in training camp, I don't think Dez Bryant is feeling any pressure at all, please. This was about a young buck trying to make a name for himself, getting a bit too overzealous, a little bit too physical with one of the franchise players, and Dez Bryant reminding him, yo, behave yourself. You can come out here and compete, but know your place and don't lose perspective. And I think that's what it was about more than anything else. Skip, nothing more, actually.
You know what? I do like your point that you went on to make about, because they did both go to Oklahoma State, like, you owe me a little more respect than most of these guys do, because you, of all people, should appreciate my legacy at that school as well as my legacy in Dallas. I get that.
Exactly.
But I also remind you, Tyler Patmon's pretty good, and he had some big moments last year. I don't know if you remember against Arizona at Jerry World.
Yeah.
He had a pick six early in that game that looked like it might put the Cowboys over the top. Unfortunately, it did not. Brandon Whedon didn't have much of a day that day. But still, I thought he was pretty to very good, and I think they have high hopes for him. So he's earned some spurs there in Dallas, some spurs. It's not like he's just trying to make the squad. I think he'll make the squad without any problem.
Well, but there's still a question mark is what I'm saying. I've watched him. I know he's talented, and I have no doubt that he'll make Dallas' squad, in my opinion, anyway. But what I'm saying to you is that you come from the same school. Dez Bryant was a stud and a star at Oklahoma State. You understand? It was off-the-field questions about him that ultimately enabled the Cowboys to get him because he went lower than expected. But his talent was easily top 10, arguably top 5. So when you look at it from that perspective, you know it's based off of what he did on the field at Oklahoma State. So here you come from the same institution that he starred at. You clearly weren't a bigger player than Dez Bryant. And his whole thing is competing against me is one thing. Not showing me the proper level of respect is another. And if you're going to lose that kind of perspective, then I'm going to have to reel you in and remind you, boy, what's wrong with you? You can't, you don't do that to me. You can do that to anybody else, but not me. I understand that.
I agree. So Stephen A., bottom line to this discussion, remember, Dez couldn't cool down. He kept trying to get at him, and they had to pull him back and pull him back. And this went on for, 10 odd minutes until Romo went over and calmed it down. My point is, you know and I know, what fuels that football team is Dez Bryant's emotion and passion for football, a la the previous 88. That's what the playmaker had. That's how Michael Irvin played the game of football. But you have to learn to channel it in the proper direction. I know Jerry Jones was pleased at the early camp fight because it shows everybody's on razor edge, everybody's geared up for the year. I get that, but it's another small indication and small test of Dez as an emerging leader of this football team to learn to control the emotion and force it in the right direction instead of at Tyler Patmon where you completely lost your temper and your control of your leadership of the football team.
This kind of stuff happens in training camp every year.
All right, we're going to leave it there. And you guys mentioned respect. Tom Brady is trying to earn back respect from critics and core. It's Brady versus Goodell. We have a new wrinkle there. We need to update you, and we'll tell you how to all play out. That's coming up.